Good afternoon and welcome to the City of Glens Falls Water and Sewer Board meeting. It's Tuesday, September 3rd at 2 p.m. We'll begin our meeting as we do with everyone with public participation. I think we've got folks from Ames Goldsmith here today.
You do.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good, very good.
Thank you for having us in.
All right.
Sure. Whatever you guys want to come and address the.
Throw you right under the bus.
I got the notepads.
Yeah, so we hadn't been here in a while. Actually, probably before COVID, so we wanted to come and say hi and say hi to everyone again. And one of the first things we want to do was to say thank you for all the help that everyone here gave us working on putting that pipeline in from our plant over at Rogers Street down here to our little installation here.
Mike, if you do me a favor, just for the record, just have each of you guys just state your name so Emily gets it.
I'm Mike, last name's Herman, H-E-R-M-A-N.
I'm Mike Forcier, F-O-R-C-I-E-R.
And I'm Frank Barber.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys. Go ahead.
The pipeline's been a great addition to our facility, and I think it's also a benefit to you guys because we keep that tank full. It's a steadier situation for the plant here. We don't, we got people don't come to work or for whatever reason on vacation or calling off at night. We can't deliver the water. Now we can.
Fantastic.
So we really appreciate it. We wanted to update you on some of the other things that we've been working on at our facility. We're always working on trying to save some water, so we're reducing our water usage, but also reducing our water, our discharge to the facility here. We're actually looking at doing some recycling work of some of the water in our facility. We've installed new RO membranes. Anybody's welcome to come. You want to come visit us, see what we do to generate wastewater to ship it down here. But we have to use reverse osmosis to concentrate the nitrates, and that's what comes down the sewer line here to the POTW. And so we installed a new RO system because we had a very difficult time buying the certain type of membranes we first installed back in 2017. So we should have no interruptions in our use of the RO membranes or in service to ourselves. We are also working with Chris and some of the guys here on trying to use some activated sludge to reduce the nitrate concentration in the streams that we send down here. We started working on that a couple months ago, so we've got an engineer working on that. Hopefully that'll be beneficial to both of us if we can be successful in reducing the nitrates in the streams. And an update, we hear a lot of companies closing, leaving, moving on in Glens Falls. We're actually expanding. We've increased our staff about 10% in the last 6 months. We're looking to expand more, particularly in our refinery and our super oxide.
How many staff do you have?
We have about 100 staff now between our two sites, the one at Harrison Avenue. Most of the staff is at Rogers Street, probably 75% or 80%.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And finally, not necessarily related to wastewater, but more of an environmental situation is we received, and this is, I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag here, but we received a grant from NYSERDA to replace an incineration unit that we have at Rogers Street. So instead of treating an off gas from one of our processes by just incineration, we're going to use scrubbing and some chemistry we've developed at our facility to reduce the gas, and then what residual gas is evolved will be scrubbed out with the scrubbers. So we're going to significantly reduce our carbon footprint. So the amount of CO2 that's emitted from the plant is going to reduce, a minimal 50%, and also significantly reduce our natural gas consumption, about 45%. So we just have started working on that.
Pretty much a million BTU an hour burner that goes 24/7 is going to be completely eliminated. So it'll be a significant decrease.
Great. Is that a gas burner?
Natural gas.
Natural gas. So lower your costs in that over time?
Yeah,
too,
those
right?
gonna be safe, it's gonna help pay for the,
Yeah.
pay for the price of the project.
Can you send us the details on it too, especially about the NYSERDA grant as well?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it. I'd like to take credit for everything we can, even if it had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's, unless you guys have anything, that's, we just wanted to come and say thank you and, update you on some of the things we got going over there, so
Thank you.
we appreciate your support.
Thank you. If you send us some of that information, we'd love to send out a joint press release with you about the, anytime, you know, a business in Glens Falls is growing and reducing its carbon footprint and, you know, and growing and helping people and reducing waste is certainly something we would like to recognize you for. Okay?
Where would I send that?
Communication at cityofglensfalls.com. Great. Or you can send it to Bill and he'll send it to me.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Anything else?
No,
It's
anything
great-
for us?
it's
Any-
great
any
news.
Questions or?
Well, I'm glad to see that you're adding on here and sticking a sword in the ground, so to speak, and stay here for a while.
Yeah, as well, yeah. And again, you know, to Mike's point with the pipeline, I mean, that was a game changer for us in so many different parts of the business. I mean, even I think about just the reduction in truck traffic.
I was gonna say that
At night,
when you
not
guys used to
running the
truck it
up
down here
the
was,
road.
yeah.
When you talk about carbon reduction, I mean, I think that
Yeah.
certainly plays a part there as well, so
Yeah.
it's been good, and we appreciate the cooperation.
Well,
It's good to see there are solutions out there that work for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
takes a while to find them once in
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
at a time, but,
Once we reach a goal line, that's.
yeah.
that'll work.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting everyone.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Have a nice day. Take
See
care.
you. See you, Frank.
I don't see anybody else here from public comment. Peter, do we have anybody online?
People online, no comment.
Okay. Stormwater moment. Bill.
Okay, as we do monthly, you can see the notice in the packet about stormwater and only rain in the storm drain. Talking this month about harmful pollutants that can come off of lawns, sidewalks, streets, and parking lots that can flow, if untreated, to the storm drain system. So this document just is alluding to everything that can happen from cars in people's driveways or on the street where fluids, whether it's oil and antifreeze that can either, you know, collect on driveways or in streets, and spills can get into the storm drain. And if the spill does occur, you should be using some method of cleaning it up, such as kitty litter, sawdust, or sand. Probably dispose of any kind of automotive fluids such as oil or antifreeze. Report illegal dumping if you see it. Wash your car, commercial car washes, recycle water. At home, use phosphate-free, phosphate or free or nitrogen-free detergents, because that's basically fertilizer for any kind of biological life in fresh water or salt water that can reach streams in those areas, and then when I get algae blooms or proliferation of the vegetation, and that takes the oxygen out of the water, and that's when you have fish kills and things of that nature, hypoxic conditions within the water stream, and find out where you have a hazardous household hazardous waste collection site. I know that they've done it before up at the Queensbury landfill or transfer station. They've done that basically yearly. We usually send out notifications. You see it in the papers and on the radio. So, and I know that we've brought some stuff up there from the water treatment plant in the past.
Fantastic.
Any questions on that?
You know, it's this time of the year where you start seeing a lot of garden hoses extended out to the end of the driveway for draining
Draining
pools.
pools. Mhm.
Is that fine, or is that like where does that stand? Is that if they let their chemicals evaporate for a couple weeks? Then it's,
It obviously depends on the amount of chlorine they have what kind of residual they have in the chlorine water. I mean, if it's a slow drip hose, it's not bad, but I mean, if you're pumping out at, a pump with 2 inches hose and it's just firing out of there, that creates some problems. And, chlorine can, impact the streams and tributaries that the storm drains are leading to if the chlorine is too high.
Is there a rule of thumb of time since last treatment that makes it better than not? Or
Well, I think you
know
have to look,
itself.
the whole time thing is dependent on how much chlorine is in there, if you do your litmus test and you're under 1 or something like that, it should be fine. 1 to 5, 1 to 6, you might want to wait. But the less chlorine, the better. It's a double-edged sword because the less chlorine you have in the pool, you could probably have to start having problems in the pool. So, but if it's gradual, it shouldn't have that much, if any, impact.
Any other thoughts, questions? We'll go to number 3. Do we have billing issues, Bill?
We do. Unfortunately, I forgot to keep it in the packet, so I don't have it. So we'll probably have to, I'll talk to the people
Postpone
and
it.
postpone it till I'll have it for the workshop, and then we can vote it on in the next meeting. I apologize for that.
Resolutions. The first resolution in front of you is the approval of the minutes of the August 5th, 2024 meeting. Has everybody gotten the minutes and reviewed them? Any questions? Edits? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of August 5th? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. The next up is the warrant. Do you all receive a copy of the warrant? Any questions?
I
Good
said, just
chase.
clarification, I see you spent almost $11,000 on the back repairs and parts. I know we're using a lot more, so it's gonna be
Yeah, and
repaired
I
a lot
think,
more.
and that was one of those repairs was a continuation of a problem with it. They finally found it, so I think,
Oh, nice.
so hopefully that'll be less and less. But I know we've had this discussion now, it's coming up to about 5 years, and we do use it quite a bit. It's one of those pieces of machinery, it only has 25,000 miles on it.
Yeah, but
on the
like
that
fire
kind of
trucks, they get 20,000 miles out of it.
yeah, but
They're worn
the
out.
way it's used and the way it's quite considerable. I think we looked at, they get more and more expensive. They're like almost, the $500,000 range now. And I think this one was like 400 something. And I think we just, on our last payment of the lease, and I think we looked at maybe the trade-in value was like 180,000 or something like that. So it may be something to look at.
Yeah, if you start spending money at the repair shop and it's
Yeah.
laid up, you can't use it.
Yeah, but it has been a godsend. And
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere now.
Yeah, when I first got here, it was down for a considerable amount of time, but since then it's been, if there were repairs, they were done quickly, so we had it back and in service.
Yep.
It makes it so much easier once we get down to a certain point, so we don't hit any kind of other utilities or our own lines.
Yeah. Plus, it's got equipment in the backhoe, we're trying to get around
Yeah.
pipes and.
Yeah. Or digging them out manually.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the warrant? Do we have a motion to approve the warrant?
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Arcadis resolution, Bill, master agreement?
Yes, this is a continuation. We've now reached the point where we've expanded all of the initial money that we put up a couple of years ago for about, I think we initially hired Arcadis to do all the grant work and stuff for roughly $100,000. They've reached that sum, so to continue on to try and getting some funding from EFC and some of the other state funding agencies. We thought that this would be a good use of this money to continue on with them for at least this time period to try to find some other money. And we were successful with Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand's office of receiving $1 million towards some of our water distribution project. So we're in the process of looking at that and trying to formulate a plan on where we would utilize that funding.
So, this task was the same thing, the task attachment one, the same thing that in the original stuff, right?
It's still a continuation of all of that. We're still securing funding for the same projects, basically.
But not done yet, huh?
No.
No, it just continues, and unfortunately,
As much as we were successful, we weren't so successful
We
to
wanted
pay
to
for
be-
the actual total cost of any of the projects. So we want to utilize them to continue to help us with more grants and other
Well, this will put us on a list too. We got some projects
EFC.
highlighted out there that we want to proceed with, so.
yes. And the two that we really were looking at were the water distribution system, which we're successful right now, and the other one was the electrical upgrade. Once that design is finished, we're going to need to try to secure some grants and as much as we can, low-interest loans, whatever's available for funding. We were hoping to secure a lot of the bipartisan infrastructure law money. And hopefully this continues, and at some point we will be successful, but right now, up to this point, we haven't been.
Yeah.
We certainly know our system well, and their writing of these grants and their knowledge of
Yes.
EFC, is it EFC?
Yeah, EFC, yep.
EFC and
That was one of the reasons we went with Arcadis, was because they had an individual gentleman that had just retired from EFC on their staff who knew the ins and outs of what EFC was looking for.
That was a good thing.
Any other thoughts, questions? Would anybody like to make a motion to approve this master agreement?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Under discussion section, we'll talk about the electrical upgrade.
Okay, as in every month, I give you a little update. We did receive the 60% drawings, we reviewed them, come up with comments. John Goldie did an excellent job going through them all. I forwarded his comments to Ray Pierce. We are planning on a meeting the week of September 23rd to go over all those comments, have a little brainstorming meeting to see where we are with those comments and how we implement a lot of the things that we need changes to, or for them to explain why they went the way they did. They're also going to be on site for 3 days that week, going through everything so that they make sure that they're knowledgeable about everything, plus the other roughly $47,000 that additional funding that we gave them for all of the workstations.
Any other questions? Or any
Plugging
questions?
along, huh?
Plugging along.
What percentage do you think they're done with?
Right now, we're at 60%. Once they get the comments, and we're hoping by the end of the year to be completed.
Are they gonna oversee the bidding process also?
Ray Pierce will.
Yeah.
The bidding process, along with John Goldie, they'll be
Yeah.
together on that, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Great. I wonder, it's just a thought for, if you'd make a note, we can find out, is that we got, I think it's a 90% grant for smart growth plan, for a comprehensive plan. We also, under the same grant money from the state, we got grant for our brownfield opportunity areas. And boy, wouldn't it be nice to get some sort of long-term comprehensive plan for water and sewer department. If under that kind of a grant or something similar could help us, because we know we've got these long-term needs and they're looming. You know, we are addressing them as best we can, but there's more than there's a lot, and it would be great if we get a grant that could help us with the 30-year plan for the water and sewer department too, especially if it was a massive cover, 90% of that, or I think from $125,000 smart growth plan, I think the city's total in kind or match is like $15,000. That kind of grant would be great for a long-term plan regarding water and sewer. We take some of these, so it's worth thinking about as we get ready for our budgets. There you go. Queensberry.
I included the informational package in your agendas, the letter that Queensberry had sent to DEC, New York State DEC, regarding their request about that extension up on Bay Street. I know we've talked about it in the past, and now Supervisor Stroud has written this letter to DEC telling them Queensberry's position and how they have plenty of capacity here within the city for them to discharge that 10,000 gallons, roughly a little over 10,000 gallons from what that complex is going to send. The whole, I guess, issue is whether it's an extension or not. And that's what DEC is saying. That it's an extension where they're saying it's more of a lateral line hooking up into their existing sewer. It's not they're not considering it an extension. As the mayor and I discussed, they're going through a lot of things in this letter, just saying, that they have plenty of capacity, rights of first refusal. They know that over the years that Queensberry's partnered with Glens Falls and gotten rid of a lot of the I&I. It comes to them, plus separating out the system to stop some of our combined sewer overflows. But there is a Article 9 in the Speedies permit that says in order to extend a sewer, you have to remove as much combined sewer overflow gallonage as you're contributing from the facility, and that's what I think DEC is hanging their hat on, and that's that Article 9 in the one of the best management practices of the Speedies permit.
How did they accomplish that?
How would they accomplish it? A couple different ways. They could do some lining projects to get I&I out. They're saying they're eliminating 12,000 gallons of flow that they're sending to Glens Falls, so they have an additional. So that's taking it out of the combined sewer overflows, because the I&I is a direct impact on the combined sewer overflow. They're doing.
Do they have any cross connects in Queensbury?
They shouldn't, but they do have some I&I. We discussed it coming over from Washington County through the airport. They have that line, I guess, flows pretty heavily during rainstorms. I think there's probably some issues with the Meadowbrook area. I think they have some probably cracks or breaks in, because most of their line is still new, basically PVC. So.
Yeah, they had that break behind Bella last year.
Yeah, between that cross-country line by the car dealerships.
We think that they do have projects that would qualify if they chose to count them that way. But I think the bigger concern is that A, they don't have a lot of I&I, and B, they've got this capacity, and it's already, and they paid for it, and also it's not an extension. It's not like they were wanting to run a new line through a part of Queensberry. It's already run. They're just adding an apartment building into an established sewer line. So
didn't Skimmerhorn put that line in to begin with? Wasn't that part of a project farther up Bay Road? He had to install the line as part of the.
Very well may have, because he has all those properties along Bay Road.
I thought he put that line in.
Yeah.
As part of a settlement to it.
Right.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
So we wish them well, and
Yeah.
and we do whatever we can to help when we're asked. That's Webster Avenue update.
Webster Avenue, if you've been by or tried to drive through it.
I walked through it this morning.
They're full bore. They're going full guns over there. Initially, they started on the Glen Street side. They did 4 sewer repairs, dig repairs, and the reason for that is because they're going to line that line. But you can't line a line that has either offset joints if they're too far offset, or if there's no bottom to the sewer, because you can't cure the pipe to it. So they had to do those 4 spot repairs. Those have been done, so they'll be able to line the
Well,
pipe.
those are the 4 breaches of the
Yeah,
pavement.
if you see where the breaches of the pavement was. And now they're, they're working on the other end, the line that comes down from Bay Road to the pump station. They're working on now the gravity line. I believe it's, starts out as a 8-inch line, and then it was reduced to a 6-inch line when it tied into the middle. It's being redone to a whole 12-inch line. So last week they were right at Friday afternoon. They were right at the culvert crossing right above the pump station. So hopefully today, I didn't get out there today, but they're through that. I know Jeremy's been out, so hopefully by the end of this week or sometime middle part of next week, they'll be right out to Bay Street, and that'll be done. They did have something that was pretty wild. They had these ramps that you would hook a hose up, and you'd hook a hose up on the other side, and the ramp is actually the hose.
Is that the one that was on Bay Street?
I don't. Yeah, it was, where you went over, up and
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, and the water flows through the ramp.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen anything like it. It was pretty wild. You say, "Oh, I've seen everything." Well, I haven't. I've been here 40 years. I've never seen anything like that.
Pretty impressive,
But that was pretty wild. Where they and actually hooked 2 of them together. It was pretty wild.
Will you check to make sure that the water drainage for those homes on the end of Webster, close to Bay, across from the cemetery, are that we've that we're addressing those, because they tend to
Well,
the
that's-
water as it goes down. Is that part of
Yeah,
what
part
you're
of
just
that, the
talking
catch
about?
basins and
Yeah.
and also every one of the homes gets a new clean out will be installed.
Great. When does the underground work end?
Our first progress meeting is Thursday, so I'll have a better answer on that then.
Fantastic. Water treatment plant.
As we discussed, we bought a new transfer switch because the old transfer switch, when the power went out, a lot of the new technologies, a lot of the PLCs wouldn't reset properly on the VFDs for the pumps. So we purchased a new one. The week before we did that, we wanted to do a total shutdown to make sure the plant, what would happen. So we found a couple bugs that we had to work out. One of the valves that lead into the plant wasn't closing the way it should. So it was a good work thing to do to make sure that we could see what was going to happen. So when we did go to do the transfer, and we were out of power for about an hour and a half, all of that stuff was worked out. We took care of it. We were without a generator there for about 2 days, but we had a temporary one there. So if power went out, we would have just come in and run the leads and powered the plant that way. So we would have been out of power maybe an hour and a half if anything happened. So we were, never fully, out of power, but we would have had it temporarily hooked up a temporary generator. But everything went really smooth. When we started everything back up, everything came back up normal. To make sure that nothing happened overnight, what we did was we ran the plant, all 5 filters as hard as we could, brought the tanks all the way up, shut it down at 3 o'clock. So the plant didn't run from 3 o'clock until like 6 the next morning. Came in, started it back up. Went down we filled the tanks up to about 110 feet, and we were down to about 90 feet, about 88 feet. So that's what all the water the city took overnight. If we get any lower than that, the booster pump kicks on, and there's a whole other thing, so that we make sure that we have pressure, because that's how we supply the pressure to the cities, from that level of those tanks. So it went well, and we did find a couple things we didn't even realize what needed to be addressed, and they were addressed.
Great. Any questions? Personnel, we got any personnel issues?
Well, not at the moment.
No executive session that I'm aware of?
I have none.
Next meeting dates proposed, water and sewer, Monday, September 16th at 2 p.m. and regular water and sewer board meeting of Monday, October 7th. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a second? All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.
Long one.